Good morning. Today is Tuesday, August 29. We are 4 minutes to noon, and overnight there's very little activity on Wall Street. Basically, we see the rebound in equity markets continue to extend higher. And so far in the Dow Jones Industrial Average, I'm basing this on the micro E-mini Dow futures, and we can see that the low traded last week was 34,062, and the market so far, the rebound is at 34,692, just at the edge of where I think the market is likely to find resistance, and that level is 34,692 to 34,877. So we have already touched this barrier, and it'll be interesting to see what happens. But I do suspect that going forward, we probably will see downward pressure for the resumption of the downturn since the high at 35,844. So I have a preliminary target at 33,651 to 33,856 in the futures contract itself. Now, tonight, we do not have any major release of economic data like yesterday. The next one will be tomorrow, and do watch out for those numbers that are coming out. I think it's going to be the personal consumption expenditure number, which will be the key number to watch as the Fed decides whether to hold rates at the current level or to hike into September. Okay, and in the S&P 500, again, I'm using the micro E-mini S&P 500 futures as a guide. We have a sharp drop from 4,485.5 to as low as 4,365 and a quarter last week, and before we see a bounce back to 4,449 and a half. So whether or not the market can actually extend higher, I have two levels here. Initially, I would think that the current level in which we saw overnight high at 4,449.5 is probably the peak for this run, but there is always the possibility of another run higher to 4,483 and 3/4 to 4,505 even. So both these levels and the one at where the market is right now at 4,439 and a half to 4,659 and 3/4 could both act as barriers to higher levels. And if the market starts to unravel tonight going into tonight's trading, I do expect the market to take out the 4,350 towards the 4,003 even, and perhaps even lower to 4,262 and a half. So do watch out for extension of this decline from 4,634 and a half to complete this entire sequence of collapse. I would say collapse, this entire sequence of downturn before we see any significant rebound, possibly into September. But again, September is a dangerous period. There is the possibility of a total sell-off in September, so do watch out for the month of September. In the Nasdaq Composite, we are seeing a similar patterns being formed to the S&P 500. In the Nasdaq 100 micro E-mini futures, we can see that the most recent move from 15,417 and 3/4 dropped to 14,752 and 3/4 was pretty sharp, and the rebound so far at 15,126 and 3/4 does looks a little bit corrective to me, and very much like the S&P 500, I expect either the market to turn down from where it is right now within the bracket of 15,085 to 15,164, or the market extend higher to 15,440 to 15,560 before it unravels. So either way, I do see a eventual decline back below the 14,600 that we saw at the beginning in the middle of this month itself, and immediate target is about 14,100 to 14,600 levels. So do watch out for an extended decline going forward. And in Asia seems to be holding pretty well, although yesterday we have a high opening followed by a pullback, but this morning we can see that the market has gone a little bit higher. Current high for the day, for the first half, is 18,564. Now, yesterday, the market drop is obviously more apparent in the Chinese market because we have Evergrande has already seek bankruptcy protection in the States because their company is actually registered in the British Virgin Islands. So they will need US protection for all their overseas assets. So basically that is buying time, and that was the news that caused the market to come off yesterday in tandem with the Chinese equity markets. So right now we are seeing a three-wave rally into this bracket, which I suspect is going to be capping the market. This area is 18,509 to 18,678 basis the futures contracts. So let's see if the market can actually be kept around this level. If it does, then I expect another decline below the most recent low at this low here at 17,539. So do watch out for unraveling of this corrective rally. Okay, in the Nikkei 225, we see that the market is attempting to do a three-way rally from the bottom of 31,230, and if it does, then I think the market is probably targeting 32,600 to 32,850, in line with the swing high here that we saw in August 10 at 32,810. So this should actually act as a confluence level for the market to resume its decline towards the 30,700 levels. And let's see, in the dollar. The dollar has beginning to come off a little bit. Recent highs was last seen on Friday at 104.38. Last night we do not have any new high. The market was practically going sideways, and this morning we see a bit of a dip, and this dip, if it doesn't accelerate to the downside, should be contained around current levels at 103.65 to 103.80 levels. The current low and this current moment is 103.76, so it is basically a pullback, and I do expect them to continue to charge higher, perhaps even beyond the June high of 104.61. And I have a target here, probably gunning for 105.5 to 105.90. So this is still going to be continued strength in the dollar going forward. Okay, and over in the euro versus the dollar, if the dollar wants to pull back, it also means that the other principal currency is likely to rally, but this rally is probably going to be short-lived. Immediate resistance to higher level in the euro dollar, I suspect it's going to be 108.5 to 108.70 before the market unravels lower to target 106 to 107 levels. So I do expect continued decline going forward. And in the sterling, I do expect the same thing. If this rally can go up, I think maximum is probably around 126.75 to 127.05 before it goes below. And I have a targeting somewhere in the 121.70 to 123 even. So basically, the market has potential to go down another perhaps 300 pips in the sterling. Aussie is likely to do the same thing, but I do see the possibility of a three-wave rally into the 0.65 to or 0.6530 levels before it goes under. I think the market has the potential to go down to test not only the October low, I think the low could be somewhere around 60 cents or even 62 cents. So do watch out for this move here. There is potential for another 300 pips collapse if the market goes up to 0.65. In dollar yen is very, very firm. So far, the pullback in the dollar index does not seem to correspond in the dollar yen. So I suspect that the pullback here is going to be very, very shallow. I'm targeting somewhere around 149.5 to 146.20, and before it goes higher. And this time the market may actually have potential to go even higher, assuming there is no intervention by the Bank of Japan. If that is the case, then the market has a natural tendency to go to 155 levels. So this is very, very far away. We're talking about 1,000 pips from where we are right now. So it does seem very lucrative, but always at the back of your mind, always watch out for some kind of intervention by Japanese authorities. In dollar Canadian, we are beginning to see a pullback in dollar index, so that should correspond with a pullback in the dollar Canadian. But dollar Canadian, because of lately the oil prices has not been going higher, so that could also means there is going to be a little bit of effect here. So are we going to see a much deeper pullback? I'm hopeful, although right now we are not seeing any sign of that, but I'm always looking for a chance to buy at prices where markets are not expecting. So there's a pivot low here at 133.70. So for all we know, the market could go down and challenge this level at some point in time, and I'm prepared to go in to buy around 133 to 133.70. Okay, and let's take a look at crude oil. Now, crude oil has recovered from the $77.59 low, and last night we see a high at $80.87. But I do suspect the market is probably not going to go higher because it's going to be contained below the $81.75 high here that we saw on August 21st. And I think the trajectory suggests that we probably see further decline forwards. I'm hopeful that I can buy crude oil below $76, ideally between $74.40 to $75.80 range in the futures contract here, basis the NYMEX light crude oil WTI. Okay, and silver, gold. Now, this is basis the spot market here. Gold seems to be recovering. We're likely to see a three-way recovery from where we are right now. The market could be targeting 1,942 to 1,952 levels. And let's see if the market do come into this bracket of range, will it be able to extend higher? If it does, I have an alternate target at 1,966 levels. Okay, but I do suggest that the market has a slight bias despite the dollar strength. Now, normally, if the dollar is strong, precious metals tends to go up. It tends to go the opposite way. But right now, we are seeing dollar strength accompanied by strength in precious metals. So this is something that you have to consider. The correlation do not always work, as especially right now, we can see both dollar and precious metals recovering both at the same time. But if the dollar continues to strengthen over time, it could actually impact the prices of precious metals. So in the meantime, if the market do go higher, well and good, that's for market weakness around this level. Okay. In the silver market, silver is even stronger and firmer than gold right now. Most recent high is $24.38. It last looks like there is momentum here, suggesting the market may eventually test the high of $25.27 basis the spot market. Okay. And let's look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin, nothing really happens in the digital asset space. Market has gone sideways, more or less, but I have already positioned long within this bracket of prices, 25,770 to 26,075, and I think this level should be able to hold for now. It does presents a low risk, high reward setup here. Basically, I'm targeting somewhere around 28,100 to 28,700 range. So this represents a very good risk reward ratio. And for those who are more aggressive, you can actually attempt to buy within this bracket of prices like I do. Okay, this is all I have for you for today. In the meantime, you take care. Now, don't forget to tonight at 8:30 p.m. I'm going to talk about the dollar direction as to where I think the dollar is going to go now that we have already BRICS behind us. We have the Jackson Hole behind us. We also heard what the Fed Chairman has said. So basically, we want to know going forward, is all this event going to be negative or positive for dollar? So if you're keen, do watch out for my Facebook posting where the lock-in details are, and join me this evening at 7:30 p.m. This is a webinar, so all are welcome. No restriction. It's free to attend. Okay, bye-bye. Take care.